Hey, this is Pat Ryarchy here, also known as the Patriarchy. All hail the Patriarchy, because we got to take down feminism and SJWs in 2016. There's this awful website that I've mentioned a couple of times in previous videos, everydayfeminism.com. This site is bigoted, idiotic, silly, just race baiting, man hating. Every other article is why white people are, racist or bigoted and they don't realize it and they have privilege. All the bullshit concepts we ever get. Listen to some of these article titles. What's wrong with cultural appropriation? These 9 answers reveal its harm. 25 ridiculous things I shouldn't have to do to avoid street harassment. How the breast is best message can hurt new parents. Um, yeah, basically they just get very, very angry if anyone attacks feminism. A lot of their articles are about defending feminism, and they do comics on all sorts of topics like gender issues and race issues and stuff like that. None of their stuff really has any scientific basis. They provide data and stats, very skewed data and stats, and they only give you one point of a story a lot of times. Like they'll tell you that they'll bring up how black people have a higher chance of getting arrested than you, but they won't show that black people commit more crime than a white person. I mean, they won't do that. If you're going to do a fair article to really look at a situation, you need to show all points of view. But every single thing they do on this site is to set a narrative. They basically straw man one group and say, this is how these people are, and we're in the right, and you need to understand these things. It's very condescending. Every article ends in some condescending way where it's like, well, you need to understand your privilege and it's okay. That's the step to progress to make the world a better place and stuff like that. And this whole idea of empathy, that we all have to have empathy for everyone else in the world all the time, and I'm obligated to be nice to everyone. It's some weird SJW thing where they, just because you criticize them, um, you're an asshole. But I'm going to look at a couple of their things today. This mainly is going to cover free speech because they have this thing on here, a couple things, a comic and an article. The comic book is here's how anti-feminist trolls would save free speech, and then the other thing is an article of 3 reasons why internet harassment is not freedom of speech. So the narrative in both of these is basically they get trolled on the internet for saying stupid feminist things. Everyone gets trolled on the internet. I mean, everyone, like men, women, everyone. They try to bring up the stat on one thing that women get trolled more, but that's actually not true. Men get harassed more online, not sexual stuff, like sexually attacked online. That may be a little different, but on average, yes, men get attacked much more online. Um, but yeah, their argument seems to be there's no such thing as a troll either. They say at one point there isn't trolls. There's just people that are assholes on the internet. Do you know? But let's look at the comic book first. This is done by Barry Desch. I'm just gonna call you Barry Douchebag, because fuck you. Okay, current note. Representatives of death and rape threats. Harassment. Okay, so these are the people that think that when people do joking rape or death threats or just, troll on the internet, everyone's just being an asshole and just evil. Feminist criticism. But that's censorship. If you've come across those trolls who love to complain about feminism and social justice warriors, well, I am one of those trolls, so yes, then you know that they claim to be mighty concerned about freedom of speech. Well, yes, that's because you guys don't want us to be able to say whatever we want. You don't understand humor. You don't understand context. You're trying to make safe spaces and trigger warnings everywhere that don't actually help people at all. It just makes them keep those repressed feelings inside and never have to deal with them. And, you guys go yell at people, interrupt people when they're trying to talk, conservative speakers at college, or people who just don't follow the narrative of you guys on the radical left. Even a lot of liberals, like myself, who was very much on the left back in the day, don't like you guys, don't like you SJWs, third wave feminists. Um, because you are very much against freedom of speech. You may not think you are, but a lot of you don't understand freedom of speech actually is. Hate speech isn't something in America. Like, we don't have that issue. See, freedom of speech isn't everywhere in the world like people think. A lot of people get arrested or get things banned in countries where you think they have freedom of speech. Even like Canada, there's a lot more censorship there than people know. They really don't. There's this utopia idea of Canada. America's one of the only places we can have these radical ideas and discussions on so many topics. I'm not saying we're the only place in the world, but the way we have it is so great. And the internet is a universal thing. It's everywhere in the world. So yeah, you're just gonna have so many people on this. You're gonna have to deal with a certain amount of people who are just being assholes. But we all do. We all share us together. And I don't think you should censor that stuff. You can block people if you want to block people or not see their stuff, you can. Twitter allows you to block. Facebook allows you to block. YouTube allows you to block. I block people all the time. Um, so yeah, this whole idea that you have to deal with criticism on the internet like the rest of us, and we're supposed to cater to your emotions because you're feminist means nothing. I think it's more justified to criticize feminists and feminist ideology on the internet than a lot of other things. I totally agree with it. This is going to be pretty brutal, but I totally agree. If you're on there talking about the wage gap or the pink tax or any of that bullshit, I hope someone trolls you and tells you you're a fucking idiot because I'm sick of this shit. You guys have to get debunked over and over and over again. You guys are like the people that believe in the fake moon landing or flat earth or something like that. I mean, the fact that you guys don't want to hear a logical answer to all these stupid things you say and you act like they're completely factual, even though they're all just really simple theoretical concepts that don't have any real basis in anything. I mean, they sound nice when you say it like, hey, women make 77 cents to the man's dollar. Women don't get paid as much. It's oppression. And then when you actually break that down and find out it's just a job interest thing and hours worked, you're like, oh, it's actually not that big of a deal. You just made it sound cool. Let's get back to this. So would everyone really be free to speak if the trolls got their way? Yes. Yes, because trolls have been on the internet since the internet began, and people can still say and do whatever the fuck they want on the internet. Like you getting to do this article on this website or do this comic. We don't have to try to imagine in this comic, and this comic makes the possibility so clear. Here's an example of how the trolls would save free speech and why their harassment isn't about what they claim. Oh, yeah, because the feminists don't lie about when they claim fighting for gender equality, even though they don't care about any men's issues, and they use fake statistics and anecdotal evidence to try and prove systemic misogyny. And they make women automatically victims to devalue women's place in society, that women aren't strong enough to get ahead because they're women, which is, I think, much more sexist than a lot of us in the anti-SJW crowd are towards women. With love, the editors at Everyday Feminism. Let's look at this comic. How free speech was saved. The feminists are attacking free speech. Oh no! Look, this one's calling out sexism in a video game. Okay, this is probably referring to the Anita Sarkeesians and that. The gaming community is predominantly male because men buy those video games. Women play a lot of video games like Candy Crush, and I'm not saying women don't play stuff like FPSs and Skyrim and stuff like that, but men are the majority of those kind of niche games that sell huge numbers, so they market them towards men. I don't know why women get so pissed about this. The Laura Croft's hot. It's like so's Nathan Drake. Video games are sold to make money. They would sell them to women in those markets if they made money. You guys don't want to buy those games. It's like why female-driven sports don't do well because women don't watch female-driven sports or sports as much in general. If you guys want this stuff to be popular, you're gonna have to get into it more. You can't say, "Oh, it's not made for me," because I don't feel like any game I've ever played was made for me. If you enjoy gaming, you don't look at it that way. And the gaming community is very intricate in its trolling, its ideas, and all these cucks in the gaming community that make those bullshit videos like with Anita Sarkeesian, like Adam Sessler, who I used to be a fan of, but Jesus, dude, what were you doing in that video? Talking about white privilege in the gaming community, you motherfuckers. It's like, why are men always attacked for things they enjoy? Like, men love playing video games. The community is predominantly male. There's a lot of guys who never even get to interact with women, and you guys hate them. You hate them because that's their thing is video games, and you want to claim sexism on that, even though you don't play them. Like the women complaining about these feminists cannot be gamers because the stuff you're bitching about is nothing any actual gamer would say. It's ridiculous things. It's like you don't. It's like you've never actually played a video game before, or your basis of how people interpret video games is just so skewed. Let's keep going though. Feminist criticism, but that's censorship. Um, once again, I don't get this setup here. This is the straw man. You're making it like these people think that's censorship and they have to stop you. No, feminist criticism isn't censorship. Anita Sarkeesian trying to get games changed or banned and getting to go talk to the UN about sexism or getting to go on the goddamn Colbert Report where he just kisses her ass um, is could lead to censorship in gaming or in the gaming forms of the gaming community. It's a pretty big fucking deal. We don't want feminists' identity politics to come into our gaming community because I don't think any political spectrums should come into gaming. Gaming should just be what it is. This injustice cannot stand. I'll get on social media soon all over the world. Attack, 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 attack. And they show these evil, evil white guys attacking. I love it's four white guys. Step in a hole and die. Rape, hate, SJW scum. I know where you live. You are pure shit. Die. Oh my god, amazing. Dear friends, for the time being, I'm shutting down all my social media accounts. Well, I'm sorry if you did, but that's what happens when you write dumb stuff about the gaming community being sexist that isn't true. This is like the Ghostbusters fallacy where they tried to claim sexism and then the movie bombed and we still all made fun of it. You guys can say what you want about the video game industry. You guys keep getting mocked because you don't know what you're talking about. I don't like this next part in the comic because I really don't like this. Settles the whole premise. Look at what they did to her. Maybe I shouldn't post online. And it's for women who aren't going to write about how they feel about sexism in gaming because of the men, the white guys up top complaining. What's funny is you see the top part is four white guys, then at the bottom they have what looks to be a couple of girls who maybe are a different color, and then they have a chubby girl there. Um, if they were gonna go on and complain about sexism in media and virtue signal, and talk about like, oh, there's my morality is better because I have to point out these issues in gaming, and you can't criticize these things. They're not adhering speech. Those women all have the right to go talk. Freedom of speech means you have the right to talk. Them getting butthurt and triggered from online harassment and then not getting on the internet anymore to bitch about their issues is not taking away their right to speech. They're choosing not to speak because they can't handle the internet. If you feminists can't handle the internet, don't fucking come on and complain about stuff. And then the last part, and that's how we saved free speech. Wow, you guys are heroes. So the whole premise is that basically men act like such assholes to feminists with their criticism that the feminists feel oppressed the women so they can't talk about their issues because they're worried about male bullying. When you put your public opinion on the internet, man, woman, race, whatever the fuck, dog, you could be a dog and put your opinion on the internet. People are gonna give you shit. They're going to give you a lot of negative comments, depending on what you do, and you're probably going to get it even if your stuff is completely noble and its cause. That's just how the internet is. There's no reason to cater the internet to you. Free speech means that you can have negative speech too, and these guys are doing nothing wrong by bitching at you. I don't want these four girls to get online. Look at them. Look at this. Look at four of them. They don't look like people I want talking about video games on the internet. I mean, if it's for feminists, radical third wave feminists who are upset and they don't want to post online anymore, thank God. This comic has a happy ending. I don't want them posting online. So, no, no, no. Okay, so let's move on to this article 3 reasons why internet harassment is not freedom of speech. It's the same goddamn thing. If I wanted to, I could walk up to a stranger on the street right now and threaten to kill them. That isn't a good reason to threaten to kill someone, but I totally could if I wanted. Never mind the fact that the person I threaten might actually feel unsafe or tell me off as a result. This is the kind of thinking I imagine dominates the mind of people who feel the need to defend their right to say whatever they want online. Be it hate speech, rape threats, death threats, you name it. No, this is not the mindset. We feel like you should be able to say whatever the fuck you want, wherever you want, because it's a free country. Words don't have the power you want to give them. Speech is free. Thoughts are free. Ideas are free. I'm willing to hear other thoughts and ideas. I'm willing to be criticized or be built up. You guys just want to be babied. The internet is not going to baby you. You don't get special privilege because you're a feminist. And I'm sorry, that whole analogy, you're going to go up to someone and say you're going to kill them and then you're not actually going to kill them. That's not the same thing as trolling someone on the internet or not. Going up to someone in public and threatening to kill them um, is a lot different than the anonymity of the internet. You're going to say the anonymity of the internet makes people feel different, but it does. There is a disconnect. A lot of people don't give a shit about how they get negative comments on the internet. I certainly don't. It doesn't affect me. It may affect you, so you probably shouldn't sign on the internet. The internet doesn't have to change to fit you. The majority of people don't agree with you. They like how the internet is. We're not going to cater to your emotions. So, and hate speech is bullshit. Okay, there's no such thing as hate speech. You getting offended isn't hate speech. I'm sick of this term. Hate speech is just he said something that went against my thing, or he trolled me, or something like that. Everyone gets attacked on the internet. Just some guy calls me a fuckhead on my comment section on my video doesn't make me think he's a hateful person or spreading hate speech. He's just being an asshole. Doesn't matter. Okay, so we're gonna move past this one a little bit because I don't want to do two more. But there's one part. What's more, the problem of online harassment is one that disproportionately affects marginalized people. Case in point, an entire fake Twitter campaign dedicated to attacking feminists of color. That's their argument. Even though there's Twitter campaign, kill all white men, stuff like that. There's a bunch of radical feminist SJW. I mean, are you kidding me? You're saying it disproportionately affects marginalized people, and your evidence is a fake Twitter campaign. Twitter's your evidence for how people get marginalized on the internet. The shithole of Twitter. I mean, are you kidding me? And no, men get harassed more on the internet than women. And overall marginalized people. What you think, black and Asian people? You think Asian people get harassed more on the internet than white men? This is ridiculous. After years of saying N-words, death threats, and suicide jokes. Oh, nigger? You seeing the N-words? You see, when you say N-word, you're just saying nigger. You writing it doesn't make it any better. So let me read this right. After seeing years of niggers, wow, you saw years of niggers, death threats, and yeah, that's really weird phrasing because she says N words, but she means nigger. So when you read this, it's like you're reading after years of seeing nigger. So it's like she's been seeing them day to day and she's traumatized by it. That's how it reads when you read it that way. And suicide jokes littering comment sections and ask boxes around the internet. It's easy to become desensitized. Yeah, to the indefensible stuff people feel the need to say under the cloak of anonymity. Yeah, it's anonymity. Here's the thing about anonymity. Okay, listen. Yes, the anonymity is the great part of the internet. I miss more anonymity. Stuff like Facebook has localized the internet where people see your name and it makes and things are still confrontational. People still fight and it's worse. Anonymity at least keep things like at a distance where you could have fucking opinions and discussions without getting in trouble, like legally and stuff, without people trying to get you fired from your job because you said something mean on the internet. I mean, that used to be what was fucking cool about the internet. It was a pirate ship. Now the internet, you guys are trying to filter it, and major companies like Google or Facebook are trying to filter their shit. I don't like it. Not a fan. Okay, so when people stand up to online harassment, which can include legal action, there's sometimes a reaction. Okay, so basically, let's just look at the three reasons. Oppressive language doesn't promote free speech. Yes, it does. Any free speech, anything that you want to say that you have a right to do is free speech. One of the biggest problems I have with people defending their right to use oppressive language like slurs and misogynist threats is that it does the exact opposite of encouraging free speech. No, it doesn't actually. It gives less power to hateful words and makes them more normalized to where we can understand humor in the context of these words and not associate them automatically with racism and sexism. Oppressive language is silencing tactic. Oh yeah, because feminists never use silencing tactics like blocking people or disabling the comment sections or just saying that you're using hate speech or you're white and you have the white male gaze. I mean, even right here, trying to write a whole article that any kind of criticism or hate you get for the shit you say, it's just a delusional person who's wrong about what freedom of speech is. No, you're wrong about free speech. Free speech is free speech. You don't get to decide what that means to you. It is what it is. This isn't to say that rich, white, able-bodied, hetero, cis men don't deal with online harassment. I love you had to write that all out. Rich, white, able-bodied, hetero, cis men. Particularly if they hold unpopular opinions or don't conform to social norms. You mean like the unpopular opinion of not going along with the feminist agenda? But I've seen more people use people defend their use of the F word. I'm talking the gay slur. Oh, you mean faggot? Than the F word I prefer to use, feminism. Well, yeah, I prefer to use faggot too. Faggot's a funnier word. Faggot's a hilarious word. What's wrong with you, you faggot? I'm also more likely to come across white people defending their right to use the N word satirically to make fun of racism than I am to encounter white people demonstrating what satire means. Maybe you don't know what satire means because if you think someone saying the N word can't be satirical, and you're just going to immediately get mad when you see nigger, then I don't think you care. And I don't really care if people say the N word or not. They don't have to say it racially. I mean, I'm saying it now in the video to explain. the stuff you're writing here, and I'm not saying it racially. I'm not saying a racist thing about black people. I'm just saying nigger. In general, online spaces are more hostile to marginalized groups than they are to privileged groups. Based on what? That could be any website. The popular group on said website is going to be the dominant group. I mean, if you go to BuzzFeed and post negative comments, you're going to get attacked by SJWs. If you go to salon.com, Huffington Post, whereas if you go to a conservative website, you're probably going to get people who agree with you more if you're conservative. This is just the internet. There's nothing about marginalized groups. Yeah, maybe only in the sense that minority groups, there's less of them, so of course they're not going to have the numbers, I suppose, but it's a ridiculous statement. You have no proof to back that up. Social media is a platform for many people whose stories and voices are poorly represented in the mainstream media. It's also a great place to make fun of people who say stupid things about those things on social media. It's also a great place for criticism and humor. It's a place where marginalized people can hear each other, vent, connect, and organize around issues that affect them. Well, I'm sorry. Yeah, welcome to the internet. If you're going to do that, you're going to have to deal with internet issues. Harassment, which no signs up for when they make an online account, threatens this freedom of expression. Harassment is something you immediately take when you sign up for an account on anywhere because it's just something you have to deal with. Everyone deals with it. It's not specific to any group of people. Everyone gets trolled. Everyone gets attacked. The best way to avoid it: don't post a bunch of stuff on the internet publicly and block people you don't want to see. You don't have. You could actually block people and give yourself an echo chamber because that's what you want. Let's just move down to point two. Harassment isn't just offensive; it's scary. Let's just get to the end paragraph on that. Most of us do not have to put on our grown up pants and acquire this thick skins to deal with harsh and indifferent criticism, but one can only bear witness to so many online threats of dismemberment and rape before losing a chunk of their faith in humanity. Oh, that gives me more hope in humanity. If people are making dismemberment jokes and rape jokes like that all the time, that's awesome. Uh, let's see. And even if every person spewing bile on the internet were completely harmless otherwise, there's still the fact that people you know have feelings. Yeah, I know if people have feelings, I just don't care. You know, there's no like universal rule or law or moral ethics anywhere that's like factually provable that I have to care about other people's feelings. You know that your feelings like don't matter to most people and they don't have to. I mean, I really don't want to hurt you, like letting you know this, but like I don't care about your feelings. You could get hit by a dumpster tomorrow, a dumpster truck, and I wouldn't give a fuck. Like I don't want you to die. I don't wish ill will towards you, but I don't care. You're just some person who writes stupid articles on the internet, and you know you probably write dumb feminist stuff all the time. I mean, the stuff you say is really fucked up. All your articles on here, so you probably get rightfully attacked. I think it's probably justified. I'm gonna say it. You come off like a shitty person. I mean, you come off like a racist. Like you have misskewed visions of white people and how you think white people live their day to day life. It's really fucked up. You seem to think less of women, like most feminists do, because those feminists feel attacked and they think they represent all women. Number three, empathy isn't only for people near you. Confession, writing articles that are meant to be posted online sometimes feels like throwing words into a void. I can't see or anticipate the impact of the article, who will see it, who will react to it, or how they respond to it, even well after it's out there, or how they will respond to it, even well after it's out there. Yeah, it's basically what I've been saying the whole time. When the consequences of your words are as immediate as they are in the world of flesh and blood, it's harder to live them carelessly. Yeah, that's what's so fucking great about the internet. That's what's great about anonymity is that people can actually get down to things without all the social norms of what you can't say in the real world, where you can actually talk about race as a white guy without getting shit on by everyone. And feminists can come talk freely in their little feminist groups and block people that don't agree with them, which they do all the time. You should just get used to that. It seems like you want everyone to publicly agree with you, and that's your issue. But when you're anonymous and it feels like you're talking to text and pixels, it's pretty easy to dash out all kinds of nonsense without feeling anything. It's pretty easy to treat online hate speech and harassment like it's all part of the game. A joke, a silly pastime for people with too much time on their hands. That's what it is. But that's not the case. People don't stop being real on the internet. A lot of people do. A lot of us don't really consider the internet completely reality based. I can separate the two fairly easily. They don't stop being real when they're on the other side of the world. They don't stop being real when they think they're annoying or silly or worth mocking. Maybe they were worth mocking. You're worth mocking. So to those who attack feminists or just plain anyone online, so anyone who attacks a feminist online is an asshole. You don't have to treat every person you interact with online with kid gloves. Apparently, I do. I have to be nicer to you. I can't just talk to you for real. Just like you don't have to walk on eggshells when you're talking to people in person. Um, how are people harassing you on the internet walking on eggshells? But if you're going to direct destructive and hurtful words to someone online, know that in the real world you might be called out, rebuffed, and held accountable. And that's only fair. People who speak out against or moderate hate speech online aren't doing it for the sake of censoring dissenting opinions or acting contrary to the First Amendment. Yes, they are. They're just refusing to tolerate attacks of their own rights and humanity. Um, yeah. Yeah, your attacks on your rights and humanity. Have you lost any rights with these attacks? Have you lost your humanity? Are any of those things gone because you got attacked on the internet? Really? Is that how shallow your existence is? And while it's possible to play the part of the gray-faced Anon troll or sock puppet online, the people on the receiving end of those words remain human. And humans react, disagree, get hurt, call each other out, hold each other responsible for the things they say online and offline. Yes, and this is variables that go into hundreds of thousands of millions of people. Everyone's different. Everyone has a different opinion. Everyone will react to these things differently. Not many people feel the same level of harassment you do because a lot of us are on the internet long enough to learn how to avoid that kind of harassment if we want to. I personally like hateful comments as much as I like positive comments. I think it's fun. Sorry that you're a little bitch. Everyday Feminism is a terrible, terrible website. It's not like their articles are poorly written. They're not really poorly written. They're just poorly thought out. They have no logic. The logic's not there, and they think they're right about things. And their comic books, the way they structure their articles, they're biased immediately and everything. And their straw man arguments really just hurt the idea. If it was everyday feminism, they would at least talk about things with at least presenting it. They always present it in the way that they have to defend feminism against the attack of these men online and stuff like that, and that it's hate speech and they're not practicing their free speech because they're attacking me and I'm a precious little girl. This is why feminism can't be taken seriously. You want to be treated like an equal, and then when you're treated equally on the internet, like everyone else is, you get mad because you have to deal with trolling just like everyone else does on the internet, or having your opinion attacked. Well, welcome to equality, motherfucker. Um, yeah, just fuck this website. So this is the patriarchy, and until next time, go fuck yourselves.